It was terrible, because we thought the world was coming down on us.
The drought this year was extreme.
Words can't express what I'm feeling. I'm just broken and I'm numb.
In the continuation of our video on the drought, let's talk about its consequences for some countries of South America. Uruguay is facing a critical situation caused by an extreme drought. Since the beginning of 2023, the amount of rainfall in the country has been the lowest in decades. Already since the beginning of February, a ban on the use of drinking water for non-priority purposes was introduced. Major reservoirs, including the Canilon Grande, which supplies drinking water to the country's capital, almost completely emptied. And even earlier, in October 2022, a state of emergency was declared in the agricultural sector. Animal farming, fisheries, and agriculture are suffering their biggest losses in 40 years, which naturally affects people's lives significantly. In 2023, a prolonged drought in neighboring Argentina, from which the country has suffered for several years, has become truly catastrophic. As of mid-March, the lack of rain for a long period of time has led to huge financial losses due to the loss of many crops and livestock deaths. The area affected by the drought is 172.5 million hectares, almost as much as the combined area of countries like Peru, Ecuador, and Paraguay. Another comparison: this area is more than 3 times the size of Spain. Argentina is one of the largest suppliers of cotton, soybeans, corn, and beef in the world. Drought and crop failures in the country may negatively affect food markets around the world.
The drought this year was extreme, and given that the previous 2 years also had a drought that dried out the soil, this year all the soil dried out.
We've never had such a drought.
A heat wave in midsummer set new temperature records and worsened an already difficult situation. The country recorded its hottest summer in 62 years. According to the country's National Meteorological Service, temperatures during the first 10 days of March were 8 to 10 degrees Celsius above normal in the east-central part of the country. Abnormal climate change is also reflected in the vivid contrast of natural disasters. While one part of the continent is exposed to drought, another one is exposed to severe floods. On March 22nd and 23rd, the coastal city of Guayaquil, Ecuador, experienced severe flooding due to heavy rainfall that coincided with a high tide. At least 13 regions were left without electricity and traffic was completely stopped due to the accumulation of water.
mattresses, furniture. As my grandmother, may she rest in peace, would say, we are without God and without Saint Mary. It was a river. This is not a street. Notice what you see now, all the sediment the earth brought with it.
It was terrible, because we thought the world was coming down on us. And at that moment I said, this is what we've come to, because it kept raining and the water kept rising.
In Brazil, from March 16th to 22nd, thousands of people were displaced from their homes after floods and landslides in northeastern states. Casualties and injured people were reported. A state of emergency was declared in several municipalities of the states of Ceara, Maranhao and Para. The planet is being destroyed right before our eyes, and inaction can lead to the death of all life on it. A giant landslide in Ecuador took the lives of at least 7 people. The tragedy occurred on the night of March 27, 2023, in the city of Alausi, Chimborazo province. More than 160 houses were either severely damaged or completely destroyed. Dozens of people were injured. There are also reports of missing people, while search and rescue operations continue. At the site of the tragedy that took place about 2 months ago, cracks formed. There was a risk of displacement of land masses. And since then the population was urged to evacuate, but, unfortunately, some residents were not able to leave their homes in time. In total, hundreds of residents were affected by the disaster. On the evening of March 24, 2023, a series of devastating storms and at least 12 tornadoes swept across rural Mississippi state, affecting Alabama as well. One of the tornadoes was the deadliest in Mississippi in half a century. It took the lives of at least 25 people and dozens more were injured. The small town of Rolling Fork in the western part of the state almost ceased to exist. Neighboring Silver City was also badly damaged. There are not many surviving structures left.
Words can't express what I'm feeling. I'm just broken and I'm numb. And knowing that my little boy could have been in if I hadn't picked him up. I'm just trying to stay strong. I got my family here, more family on the way, friends coming. That's all I can do is just rely on them to help me get through it.
So who lived here?
My mom and dad, Lonnie Pierce, Melissa Pierce. And I just wish I spent a little bit more time with them yesterday before I left. And I still gotta tell my son that they're gone. I'll be able to do that. But I know that they're in heaven right now. And I was told that they passed away in each other's arms.
On March 28, 2023, a powerful hurricane wind blew through the Georgian city of Batumi and its suburbs. The wind speed reached 90 kilometers per hour. A tree fell on a car and took a man's life. There are injured people. The wind knocked down the roofs of the houses, felled trees and fences, and scattered pieces of glass. Local residents say there has not been such a hurricane in Georgia for many years.
In the evening, the sky suddenly darkened. The weather suddenly began to change. And then there was such a strong squall wind that it began to tear down heavy umbrellas and capes on the various cafes. Waste containers flew maybe 200 to 300 meters away from where they were originally located. I mean those big plastic containers. Garbage was flying everywhere, as if it was being swirled around in a whirlwind. Palm trees everywhere. It seemed palm trees were about to be uprooted. People were grasping these palm trees, trying to hold them as tightly as they could. I would say a kind of pre-panic state, because you do not know what to do in such a situation. You don't have any understanding, any skill, of what could be coming. In the world right now, with the climate, with all this, everything is changing, and it's changing globally. You can see that it's already affecting every country. And not only does it affect every country, but it's happening dramatically. No one expects anything to happen tomorrow.
On November 12th, 2022, the date of the end was announced.
What this mathematical model is saying is that if the destruction process is slow enough and there are no other factors to trigger its acceleration, then everything we're talking about will happen in October 2036.
We have calculated different scenarios and come to the conclusion that in any, even the mildest version of the current cycle, all of humanity will perish.
Just think, your comfortable family life, your business, your plans will be over in 6 years. And in 2036, the end of all humanity will come.
Only a little time has passed, just half a year. But look at what the climate Cerberus has done to our world within such a short period of time. And what have we, as humanity, done after the date of the end was announced? As you can see, our society as a whole has continued to exist in the consumerist format. Only a few volunteers out of 8 billion people have continued to fight for the entire humanity.
The first floors are on fire. The walls are burning, but no one is doing anything inside. We've been taught that someone decides something for us. But now, nobody decides anything for us. Our house is on fire, and we are in the middle of it. And the saddest thing is that many of us don't even know about it.
Prior to November 12, 2022, humanity lived in ignorance of its future. Now, the situation has changed.
This is a fact that we have been living for more than 10 years. And as of today, you also will have to live with it.
Now, the responsibility is on everyone who knows it. That includes you, the responsibility for what you do with what you know. Do you pretend nothing happened, or do you listen to the voice of your conscience? Join now while there's still time. We can still make a difference. As long as we can speak up, we will speak out and spread the truth. On the 22nd of April 2023, the International Online Forum Global Crisis, There Is a Way Out, with simultaneous interpreting into 150 languages. Make this truth known to all. Now is your time to take action.